crumbling and overcrowded inside, but closing it has yet to happen. I spoke with a former inmate who says this plan is a step in the right direction, but a little more needs to be done.
Dante Cottingham served 11 years inside these walls, in addition to some time at Columbia Correctional in Portage, after being convicted as a party to the crime of first-degree murder in 1996.
Green Bay was the place that had the best odds of really dehumanizing, really destroying me physically, emotionally, spiritually. Out of all the places, this is the place that was the most impactful, the most traumatizing.
Cottingham now runs a group that opposes solitary confinement in Wisconsin's prisons. He says it means something to have the state's top elected official say outright that this facility needs to close.
This first step is required. So just seeing this first step is extremely important. I was extremely happy to see that in the proposal there is no plans to build a new prison, which is extremely unnecessary considering the demographics and the dynamics of the prison population in this state.
Cottingham also supported the governor's idea for more vocational training for prisoners, saying that helps inmates transition back into society.
Cottingham says everyone wants the same thing, prison reform and the closure of GBCI, but says it'll take a bipartisan effort to get there. I'll have more for you tonight at 6. For now in Allouay, Carl Winter, NBC 26.
Carl, thank you. The prison, originally called the Wisconsin State Reformatory, has been around since 1898. And for years, it's faced growing concerns about its conditions. It was built to hold 749 inmates, but right now there are more than 1,000 housed there, according to the Department of Corrections. Staffing has been a challenge, but there has been some improvement. Vacancies dropped from 39% in 2023 to nearly 14% as of last August. Over the last decade, complaints, lawsuits, and protests have shined a light on poor conditions, attacks on guards, inmate deaths, and lockdowns. We've covered these issues extensively. You can find our full reports on our website, NBC26.com. And don't forget, tomorrow is the Wisconsin spring primary election. Polls open at 7 in the morning and close at 8 p.m. The major race is for state superintendent, the top education official in the state. Some officials are predicting low turnout. In Sturgeon Bay, where it is the only item on the ballot, the city has decided to use only one polling place at City Hall.
When we only have one item on a ballot for a primary in February, it typically does draw fewer people.
If you do go to the polls tomorrow, don't forget to bring your voter ID. Today on President's Day, dozens of people took to the streets of Green Bay to make their voices heard. They're protesting decisions made by the Trump administration. Our Noah Cornelius was there.
Nina, the Brown County Courthouse courtyard was packed full of people critical of President Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Even Senator Jamie Wall shared a few remarks as well. And I spoke to some of those who participated, and they tell me they're just hoping that others will join their fight. Outside of the Brown County Courthouse, nearly 100 people staged a protest, expressing their anger and frustration with President Trump's leadership and recent sweeping changes. For Amy Trader, it's the rolling back of corporate DEI policies.
A big focus for me is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm a leader at my local work, and I care so much about that. People don't realize how many people are affected by this ridiculous agenda, and it's really hurting people, and I want to see that stop.
The protest held by the Brown County Democrats. County Party Chairman Christy Welch says it isn't just a local effort.
This Doge group.
There was a push to do a national day of protest on President's Day today. So Brown County Dems decided to scoop up, take on the organizing for that, because we knew there was a lot of folks that wanted to be involved.
The protest lasted just over an hour as the group marched around the courthouse, and like Amy, each with their own reasons for being there.
Fighting for all the federal workers that are getting fired right now.
I foresee they're going to be union busting pretty soon. It's going to happen.
You know, sitting around doing nothing is just so depressing, honestly. So many people are just stuck.
I also reached out to the Republican Party of Brown County for their response to today's protest, but I haven't heard back yet. In Green Bay, Noah Cornelius, NBC 26.
A string of recent aircraft mishaps continue today after a Delta Airlines flight crash landed in Toronto. As you can see, that airplane somehow rolled onto its back after touching down. The airport says all passenger and crew have been accounted for, and no one was killed. However, local paramedics say as many as 15 are hurt. The airport has issued a ground stop for all flights at what is the busiest airport in Canada. This follows recent deadly crashes in Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and Alaska.
I saw that they were coming back. It was like, heck yeah, this is great.
A historical local club baseball team has been given new life and is now back where they belong. And you'll be able to watch them. That story coming up.
You're watching NBC 26, part of the Scripps News Group.
Baseball in the 1930s had some big names like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, but it also had the Two Rivers Polar Bears. Your Lakeshore neighborhood reporter Preston Stober tells us how after 7 years, this historic Northeast Wisconsin team is back.
Nina, I'm here at Tom Walsh Field, the longtime home of the Polar Bears. And once the snow melts and summer rolls back around, it'll be home once again, now that the Bears are out of hibernation.
Polar Bears to me was like the Milwaukee Brewers.
This is Zach Peterson, a proud bat boy for the Two Rivers Polar Bears in 1984.
40 years later, I still have my uniform that I wore as a bat boy. Can't fit in it anymore.
Serving under legendary coach Howie Tim, neither Zach nor the community knew that 84 would be the last season for many years.
I was upset that they left, because it's baseball. Everybody wants to watch baseball.
Part of the Shore League in Northeast Wisconsin, the team is made up of high school and college players. And though the team disbanded in 1984, they returned in 2001, enjoying another long run until ending again in 2018 due to scheduling and not having enough players.
When the team left in 2018, I had already tried to figure out how I could make it happen again. Polar Bears GM A.J. Lorgan has loved baseball for as long as he can remember. He spent the last few years seeing if another return was possible and if there was enough community support. Someone usually brings up, well, yeah, I remember going to games when I was a kid, and my dad and my brother played, and people are excited, and it's really exciting to see people excited. Lorgan says that now, with enough sponsor support and player interest, he knew 2025 was the year. A nearly 100-year-old team is back in the league. I think it'll be pretty cool. I'm going to like to look up in the stands and see how many people are there and see faces that I recognize, and it's going to be a great day.
Just a good time to watch these kids play ball, and they play for the love of the game.
AJ says that he already has 8 players signed up and that this new team is playing in memory of longtime coach Howie Tim. In Two Rivers, Preston Stober, NBC 26.
And after a snow drought for most of the winter, we have now had our snowiest start to February on record, if you can believe that. Is there more snow on the way? Your forecast is next.
Now, Chief Meteorologist Cameron Moreland, featuring the 3-Degree Guarantee, sponsored by your Wisconsin Chevy Super Dealers.
After a widespread 6 to 8 inches of snow this past weekend with some locally higher amounts above 10 inches, our snowfall deficit for the winter has now shrunk to less than 6 inches, and all that snow has really helped the snowmobile trail situation. Most areas were closed before the weekend. Right now, most areas are open, and several counties are reporting good conditions. And with temperatures like this, that snow is not going anywhere. It is already 1 in Oshkosh. We're looking at 2 degrees in Fond du Lac. With clear skies and still lots of sunshine in Appleton, it is 5 degrees. We've got setting sunshine in Green Bay. The temperature is 5, but westerly winds continue at around 15 miles per hour, and that's making it feel a lot colder out there. In Manitowoc right now, the wind chill is 13 degrees below zero. And by tomorrow morning, most spots will have wind chills, give or take about 5 degrees, close to 30 degrees below zero. So obviously make sure you dress appropriately. We've got a hodgepodge of cold weather advisories and extreme cold warnings across the entire central part of the country, going all the way down into the heart of Texas. And on the southern edge of this cold air mass, there's going to be another major winter storm, potentially giving parts of Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas more than a foot of snow over the next 24 to 36 hours. No snow headed our way anytime soon. We've got Arctic high pressure building in from the north and west. Underneath it today, high temperatures in the single digits and teens below zero, and that cold air will continue to impact us for the next couple of days. We have now had 13 days this winter with sub-zero lows. We're going to add another day tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, without the wind chill, most locations will be around 10 degrees below zero, give or take about 5 degrees. If you are planning on sturgeon and spearing out on Lake Winnebago tomorrow, please bundle up. It is going to be frigid, 10 below at sunrise, 10 above by 2 o'clock, but that wind chill once again will stay below zero all day long. This very frigid air mass is going to stick around for another day or two, and then it's going to start to lift off to the north. We're going to see more of a zonal jet stream pattern develop by this upcoming weekend, and that means a big warm-up is on the way, and we're getting to that time of year